All right, today we're going to dive into a really powerful and honestly pretty counterintuitive philosophy for getting what you want out of life. It's an idea that, well, it goes against pretty much everything we're told about success in this hyper-visible world we live in. And this one sentence, this is the entire foundation for a totally radical approach to success. It's basically saying that real wealth, real power, it's not about being seen. It's the exact opposite. It's about mastering the art of invisibility, becoming completely unreadable. So let's start with the big idea, the foundational truth of this whole principle. In a world that's just obsessed with exposure, with personal branding, we're going to explore why true power actually begins the moment you disappear. At its core, the goal is to avoid becoming this, a visible pawn in someone else's game. Just think about it. Imagine a chess player who just announces their next 3 moves out loud. When everybody knows what you're doing and where you're going, you're not a player anymore. You're just a piece on their board. And that brings us to this crucial point. As long as people can track your progress, as long as they can predict your next move, you are literally giving up your strategic advantage. You're basically handing them the puppet strings to control your fate. Okay, so now let's talk about the real cost of all this visibility. We're going to see how that conventional wisdom, get your name out there, is actually a strategic trap that can totally sabotage you before you even get started. We're all taught to be visible, right? To shout our ambitions from the rooftops. But the strategic reality is that just paints a giant target on your back. It makes you vulnerable and super easy to contain before you're even a real threat. So why is being visible such a huge liability? I mean, shouldn't sharing your goals rally people to your cause? Well, the answer really lies in some pretty uncomfortable truths about human nature. This quote, wow, it reveals the silent psychological warfare you're actually up against. It's a brutal truth, but people are generally cool with your progress, but only as long as it doesn't surpass their own. When you announce your ambition too early, it's not seen as an invitation. It's seen as a challenge. So, if visibility is the trap, this next part is the solution. The real path to power isn't through the spotlight. It's by becoming what this material calls a social ghost. See, when you work in secret, you get 3 massive advantages. First, your rise is undeniable because, well, no one saw it coming to try and stop it. Second, your focus is total because you've cut out all the noise and distractions. And finally, your strategic advantage is just immense because nobody can counter a move they can't even predict. This quote forces a pretty fundamental choice on you. Are you chasing that short-term satisfaction of being seen, that little dopamine hit from a few likes, or are you playing the long game for real, tangible power? And honestly, this might be the hardest part of all. The biggest challenge isn't some external force. It's our own internal craving for validation. That deep need to be seen, to be heard, to be recognized. That's the very thing that makes us so easy to control in the first place. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Let's get into how you can translate this whole mindset into deliberate, practical actions you can actually start taking today. Let's really contrast the 2 mindsets. So on one side, you've got the visible pawn, who's basically a slave to what other people think and moves predictably. And on the other, you have the invisible strategist, who is unreadable, unpredictable, and exists for themselves, not for an audience. So becoming unfindable really boils down to 5 concrete actions. It means cutting off useless conversations, guarding your energy like it's a fortress, becoming intentionally vague in your plans, and, maybe most importantly, protecting your ambition, your fire, from all the people who would try to put it out with their doubts and opinions. Now, a quick heads up. People are not always going to like this change in you. They might start calling you arrogant or distant when you really start to focus. But you should actually consider this a good sign. It means they're losing their ability to predict and control you. And that means you are taking your power back. So you've done the work in silence. You've built your empire in the dark. Now what? Do you stay hidden forever? Nope. This final section is about the end game. When, and more importantly, how you emerge from the shadows for maximum impact. See, the goal is not to hide forever. It's to present a finished victory. Think about how major tech companies work in total secrecy. You don't show off a work in progress that just invites criticism and sabotage. You reveal a result that is so complete, so massive, that it just can't be denied. This is such a powerful analogy from nature, and it just perfectly captures the essence of this strategy. Success isn't about being the loudest animal in the jungle. It's about being the most patient, the most observant, and the most strategic predator. And we're going to end on this final, really provocative thought. The ultimate form of power isn't about getting everyone to listen to you. It's when your silence, your absence, creates more of an impact than your words ever did. It means your results are now speaking for you, and trust me, they speak volumes.